The window frame and the door frame for earthen house is quite similar to the normal house, but that's a little bit different because of normal house they need to screw a lot of screw on the side of the frame or screw it to connect to the house, another part of the house, or sometimes they nail a lot of nail on the side so it can catch the cement, the concrete very well on the side of the frame like this. But for earthen house we don't need that because the mud can hold the frame very well. We just set the frame on the wall and then build the bricks, hit the wall, and it stay very well. There are many techniques to set up the frame. The first technique is to leave the space. If we don't have frame or we don't want to put it on yet, it's good to leave the space. But to leave the space, we put the frame later, we need to leave the space bigger than normal frame, at least 20 centimeter is size. It will be very easy to set up a frame and to fill up the gap between the frame and the wall. And the second way is setting up door frame before we build. To do this technique, it will be the best if we have metal frame. If we use wooden frame, we need to build fast. In a few days, we need to cover the frame. If not, the frame will be in the sun too long. It will crook, bend, and you cannot put the door or window in easily. To have metal frame, it's good to bury metal frame into the concrete foundation. It will hold very well. With this technique, it's quite easy. If we leave the space and then put the frame later, there's many ways to do it too. The first way is just to build the brick with the bricks. Stick up 1/3 of the brick at a time, and then we can sculpture, we can shape it as you want. This technique is very nice. And the next one is to make arches. Arches, we need to have frame. Set up the frame and then check the level very well, and we build both sides up in the same time. This technique, after we put the keystone on top, is so strong. It's very easy, fun too. The next way to make the space for the window frame is to use lintel. When we build the wall both sides up to the level that we want to close it, we put lintel or 2 pieces of wood on top of the wall, and then we use mud and straw mixed together to cup to hold the wood to stay with the wall. And if the wood smaller, we can use mud and straw to make it the same level. Add it on top of the lintel to make the height the same level with the normal level of the bricks, and then we can build with the normal bricks on top of it. With this technique, it's very nice, and then we use this technique a lot in case of our window frame or the door frame too wide, so it will help to hold the weight of the wall before the brick dry. When the bricks or the wall dry, even there's no lintel, the termite maybe eat lintel or we cut the lintel off, it's still strong. It stays very well. This technique is unbelievable strong. So when we use lintel above the window frame, it's good to make a gap, leave a gap at least 3 inches above the window frame, because when it's sag, it will not press on the window frame or the door frame. Except if we have very strong lintel, we can make it close to the window frame, but it don't need to be touch the window frame. How to set up a window frame is very easy technique that we use is to use mortar mixed with straw and put on the wall first, and then set the frame on top, and then check the level very well, make it straight, and then in the same time we tie the stick or the wood to hold the frame stay in its place so it will not move. At the end of the wood, we need to use bricks to press it down so it will stay tight. And after that, we just build with the bricks and make the bricks touch the frame. So the dry bricks will hold the frame very well. After we build up to half of the frame, it will stay very still, very strong. Even we take the wood, the stick that we support it off, it's still strong. And when we set up the frame, we always set up the frame flush with the wall outside. We don't want to have any ledge, but we keep the ledge inside. Because we don't want to have the ledge outside, it will collect rainwater. The ledge inside, we can decorate it to make it into a shelf to put something on top of it. While we set up the window frame and the door frame, it's good to stand very far and look at the whole picture to check if it's even, if it's in the same level or not. It's very important. And then when we put the lintel on top of the frame, it's good to put mud and straw mixed together as a cup to cover, so it will be easy to plaster later. When we build on top of the frame, it's good to stick 1/3 of the brick out into the middle of the frame of its size, so we can fill up the middle later. With this technique, it's the way we spread all the weight to both sides of the wall, not in the middle of the frame. That will help the frame to be strong. It's good to stick out like this. If the frame not more than 1 meter, we don't put lintel on top of it. If it's longer than, wider than 1 meter, it's good to put the lintel on top of the door frame. It will help to spread the weight to both sides of the wall more, so the frame will not carry too much weight. We do this technique quite a while. I think it worked pretty well, but I'm sure that there are many ways you can do. If you can think and can find another technique that's easier than this, better than this, don't hesitate to try it. I think it's good to experiment, to try more. It's quite fun when we learn new things more often. Every time when we have workshop, we have many people come. Some of them have very good experience in carpenter, in working with wood, with mud, with cement. We learn so much all the time. I think it's important to not stick with any technique, with any theory too much, because if we open, we always learn from everybody who come. This is what helps us to develop technique. Always have a new technique, new way to use. I think it's very fun to do it in this way, because we discover more new things to make it easier, cheaper, and stronger. That's the main point of learning and building together.